Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Ship Together. I am very excited tonight. Tonight, our topic is what does healing look like? So I have my guest here, Kode Knox. Hey, Kode.
Peace.
We're going to get right into it. Are you excited about tonight's episode?
Yes, yes. Thank you for
I,
having me once again. This is an honor. I think this is three times. This is good. I don't mind being a regular here. But peace to everyone. Proper education always corrects errors. My name is Kevin Garcia, and I am Kode Knox, transformational coach, inspirational speaker, author, artist. Here to talk that stuff. Peace.
good. Let's get this intro going. We'll get right. How about that?
With my what?
I'm going to get this intro going.
Okay.
Stay right there.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
All right, let's get into it. How was your day, by the way?
Full of learning. Yes, full of learning. Always full of learning. I'm just always learning. It's good. It's good. It's. I don't even like saying good because I tell you like when people always ask how you doing, you just say good. So
Mm.
I like to say I'm learning, but
You,
learning.
and yeah, you always say that too. But I love that because every day is a learning lesson. I've been getting a lot better with meditating before I get out of the bed. So there's my
Mm,
first life lesson before I get out of bed. So you're right, it is always learning. I love that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. All right, let's get right into it. So the motivation for tonight's show, I actually got the motivation from Cody's Instagram, but we
Mm.
took a screenshot of it and we're gonna post it so you all can see it. And the topic of his post was what healing looks like. It was very loaded, and I love how he broke it down. But before we talk about what healing looks like, should we should look at what does an emotional wound look like. So there's a wound, you have a wound, but then you want to start to heal. So I asked you, Kode, what does an emotional wound look like? How does it look?
Well, I mean, when you're not feeling yourself, right, where something seems off,
Hmm.
you might become a little more moody. It's really lack of emotional intelligence, and being okay with that, like that lack of emotional intelligence, because of some of our upbringing and some of our beliefs. We tend to hold on and believe uh, this system um, that we can actually destroy. See, we're generators, we're observers, we're destroyers. So we tend to look at certain things and become it. And it really triggers us. And that is part of the healing, right?
Mm.
Finding out, identifying those triggers and really having an understanding with those triggers in that healing process. Because we'll say something like, yeah, I need healing, but what does that really mean if you just acknowledge it? Action, action is really important to this. Like people can hear me talk about this stuff and it sounds good, but they can't process it themselves, right? So that's why
Mm.
it's important to because you're stuck in your ways, you're programming your ways, and it's a hard pull of the lower self.
Mm, you just came right in with it.
Yeah.
I love talking to you.
Thank you.
I really do.
I feel like I haven't done this in a while, but this is good.
I know it's been a moment since we've been together online.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. We're falling right back into. It feels like an old shoe.
Right. Exactly.
Into it. So
Right.
some of the emotional wounds I've received growing up, which I didn't know that I had emotional wounds because I didn't have any. It wasn't physical, but
Right.
till
Or was it? Right. Or was it? Right. You know, even when we start playing, you know, we get a little selfish with our toys. We start building this defense, right? This defense is that lower ego, right? And when we can't control it, it becomes I mean, it's the lower self that creates this defense mechanism, and then the ego leads, and then we can't get to our higher self. Not that we can't, it's still a process. We might not get it this time around,
right.
but eventually you will. Um, but it's a process. It's a process, and um, what are you preparing for?
Mm.
It's the number one question. What in the world are you preparing for?
Okay. Huh. Now you got me thinking.
Because when we're healing, we have to ask ourselves, why are we healing? What? Because
Mm.
most of the times we learn through relationships, but the number one relationship to start with is the relationship with yourself.
Self. And for
Hmm.
those who do not know, Kevin is my shadow work coach. So having sessions with him, you're always going to hear about self, which is someone for me that's good. And I feel a lot of people as well, we pour so much into other people and we don't pour into ourselves
Right.
and we lose ourselves. So finding our way back, I love that.
Yeah.
The sense of self.
You're right, because remember, we're born at a higher self. Excuse me, we're born at a high vibration.
Mm.
We're born at our higher selves, and then, you know, it changes as we develop this ego.
Mm.
And then, you know, our imagination is taken away, our creativity, which is, you know, that's not survival there, where, you know, certain things in the lower aspect of ourselves where it's always survival. Where at a higher self, this is this knowing. Even through the healing process, the only reason we still healing is because we're still in this form. We're still in this
Right.
form, and we will always need healing, because no one is going to be flawless out here in this form.
Mm.
Uh, and we're not, we can't get away from certain energies sometimes, even if we just think it, or someone thinking about us, because this is all conscious. This is all consciousness, whether people want to admit it or not. And what that means is awareness.
Right.
Um, and so when we begin to heal, we're understanding why we're healing. But number one is the relationship with yourself, because you don't ignore yourself anymore. You don't ignore what you're feeling, because the mundane stuff will have you forgetting yourself.
Can you explain that? The mundane stuff.
So working 9 to 5, you know, maybe even school, even family, right? We putting everything before ourselves, um, and sometimes our enlightenment happens because we're kind of sick of it. Um, yeah,
Yes. That hit my soul right there. You get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
right. Because we're energy personified. So we naturally right now, as this earth is changing, we have to change with it because we in here, right? So our our energy is like, wait, no, everything is changing, and you want to stay the same. You want to stay the same, and it can't stay the same because your energy, everything is constantly vibrating and moving. Okay, and we're a frequency. So frequency, vibration, energy, frequency. You know what's a sign of your frequency? Whistling. Remember they used to say, well, this is a superstitious that they had in my family. When you whistle at night, it was bad, like you were calling in bad spirits, and it was. But when we're doing that, there's a frequency to it. Even vibration, when we go, you can hear the,
Yes.
that when we do those mantras and chakra chants, you can hear the vibration in you. What happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, when I went like that, because you taught me about the and
Yeah,
I would feel the vibration in my chest. That's how.
right.
That's why I went like. I didn't even realize I did that.
hmm That's the vibration. So picture that, right? When you're saying something to yourself, right? If you're saying something to yourself and it's a vibration to it, right? What do you think it's doing inside of you, right?
Right.
So that's what happens when you're not healing. That should just stays inside you, and that vibration does something to you. And then we start having these trapped emotions. Then we start having this dis-ease about ourselves because we're not in alignment with who we truly are. And this is the time right now to be in alignment with yourself, your higher self. Think of this. If there's two of everything, you think that you see yourself right here. How could there be not another aspect of yourself that you can't see? All y'all believe in Wi-Fi. You can't see it, but you believe in it.
Facts. Yeah, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Wi-Fi. We in this live stream right now.
Right.
Yes, I do believe a lot in it.
Yeah. So people can't believe and it can sound arrogant when you say higher self. And when we talk about the higher self, it's the wise part of you, right? From this experience of the lower self.
Can you explain the lower self for folks who do not know or not familiar with?
Lower self is just what that is. We have polarity going on within ourselves, right? So we have this positive and negative aspect of ourselves. Negative isn't bad, people. Negative or dark energy, it's the perception and the meaning that you give it. And what does it do when you look at it that way? When you look at yourself from a lower self of the fear, the anger, the doubt, all the things that you know doesn't really sit right with you is your lower aspect of you. It's your lower self. Now, when this happens, this lower vibration, it doesn't mean that you have to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
It's really connecting to that aha moment, that intuition, because you want to be neutral. This is why a lot of us be off on our body because how we're treating ourselves. We are so biased that we're causing an imbalance within ourselves. So everything that you're saying to yourself is so critical. It's so critical to you, especially now, because everything is happening so fast. Why are we already in April so quickly? Why? Why are we vibrating? Because we're vibrating so fast that time is starting to feel like an illusion. We kind of started feeling that during the pandemic. We started feeling that because it was like, hey, what do we do next? Well, what we were supposed to do, we couldn't go outside. You were supposed to go inside instead of right seeing it as a pandemic. This we got to look in between the lines and find the positive aspect of it and the negative aspect of it and learn to bring it into balance.
I like that. The balance.
It's so important to your growth to have an understanding of that. So imagine when the healing process happens. So for me, what it was is because I let go. I let go of a lot of stuff, things that wasn't serving me, forgiving, um, and processing. It was a lot of work, but once it was a lot of work. It
I'm
was because
laughing at that because I literally just got off the phone with one of my friends, and we were just saying, we were talking about healing, and she's like, this is going to be a lot of work. She just started her healing journey, and I'm so proud of her. And she's like, this is a lot of work. I was like, yes, ma'am, it is. But it's
yeah,
worth it. It's worth it in the end.
yeah, it's not microwavable though. No, this is
Mm.
this is forever until you move on, until you transition to the next life. We're gonna be you're gonna be healing, but it doesn't have to be so serious because look, laughter, love, all these things are high vibration, creativity, journaling, setting goals, preparing for what? Preparing for your success. What is
Mm.
success? What is success? It's all up to you. We already had society tell us what success was, and we found out it didn't work by 2020 because nothing mattered at that point.
Ooh, it really did not.
Because we realized, like, damn, clothes didn't matter. It just nothing mattered anymore. It was just like, and that was your chance for freedom, and that was my ascension, 2020. But again, because I thought I was home free in this higher self, having the having to understand the subconscious mind, right? And understanding that I was working through my subconscious mind the whole time. So this consciously we speaking right here, but what is the subconscious mind doing? Right? So we got to look at it on both sides, the same thing. Subconscious, conscious mind, higher self, lower self, all these things, polarity, right?
Right.
Duality, two of everything, right? Not even
Mhm.
looking at things from an angle of bad or good. This is ascension because you have to come to an understanding with what has transpired in your life. That's what happened to me. I have an understanding now. Excuse me, more so than, damn, that's messed up. Even like one of the shows that we did, I have a different perspective even now, 6 months later, because it's more so like I look at it like, oh, I understand them better.
Ah.
The more you have an understanding, the less your heart is. That's what the point is. You want to get that heart light. So with the lower aspect, you are able to transform through the heart into your higher self, right? Into this ascension. And
Mm.
that's the time that we're in right now. But in order to do that, we got some work to do. You have some work to do.
Right.
And it takes time in that healing journey. And a lot of times I be telling, some of my clients, they might not do the work, but the clients that really do the work, you can see them have that awakening. And that awakening it's like no other.
Ooh,
Because
it's
it's like
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
you
Mm.
realize what this all is. You realize, and not saying that you have the answer, but you understand your story more, and that's what you want to do. You want to understand, not look at it from just a one-sided perspective, right? Like I would say my mom didn't love me, but what am I really saying? No, my mom. I have to look at it for my sake, right, and for the sake of energy. She did do the best she could,
Yeah.
right? And you know what? I understand her story so much more, and I'm so thankful for her. The
Yeah.
family members in that even again, if I don't rock with, and I wish them well. I hope everyone's okay. If I ever think about them, it goes into the energy of I wish them well, and I have to move on to the next thought because I don't want ego to come in. Immediately, it's just more so why is these thoughts coming in? And that's what even happens in healing, where things are coming up where you don't even realize some of these things that are affecting you. Your emotions are not under control; they're controlling you. And if you don't,
Ooh, that's a
yeah,
word. Yeah, that is a word.
yeah.
Yeah, I've I never realized until now, and I'm still learning how the best way to put it is because I didn't have a sense of myself, so I damn sure wasn't going to be able to see someone else's self. So I was being triggered off of someone else's trigger that had nothing to do with me. It was like
Right.
currents of energy, but it wasn't good energy. It did not serve me at all. But I couldn't see. Oh, I feel like I'm in a session now. You know, make me go ahead and book one. It makes sense now because I couldn't. My ego got in the way. My ego was standing in my place. So it was easier for me to react to someone else's trigger. And it was just a ping pong back and forth. And nothing came from it. I take that back. Yes, it did. Anger, resentment, cursing, yelling, emotional eating, emotional not eating. And then that's how it came out and it manifested in myself. But now it is easier, and I'm still working on it, to let people go that no longer, or relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. That's the hard part of letting go of those relationships that you think that you need, which is all ego. All ego. It don't have nothing to do with anything else because you think that you need these relationships and you really don't. You can ask yourself 5 questions relating to the relationship, no matter who it is. And if you're really honest with yourself, you can find out if you really need that person.
Ooh, you said 5 questions.
Mm-hmm.
You want to share, or at least 2?
Yeah, like what do they do for me? Am, am I being am I being tolerated or am I being celebrated? That's the number one question you want to ask yourself. And most of the time, you can you can figure out that you're not really being celebrated. And hey, some people might be okay with that, but think about vibration again. Think of energy when that happens. If we are at a certain time, frequency, and vibration right now, if you going to people that's not really on your level, then what is happening to you? You're going down with it. It's a sinking ship right now. What does that mean? Does that mean in the physical? No, it doesn't. It means consciously. What is happening consciously with you? That means that no, it don't mean to just pick up some books. No, it means if you go check to see what's going on inside of you, you can truly free yourself from what you think this shit is.
Right, exactly. So I like what you said about going within and going inside. I'm going to pull up a graphic that I got off of your social media, and the video was so cool too. So I'm going to pick out a few topics, and because it's going to be an audio podcast, I'll read them out loud, and I definitely would love your interpretation on it. So what this infographic says, it says what or how healing can feel, not what we think it is. I love the word feel. As Black
Right.
folks, I feel like we are so disconnected from our emotions.
Right.
So when you have here how healing can feel messy, what does that look like?
Well, we're going, what I always suggest people is to go back to the first time you felt hurt. And that means you have to go back to your younger self. See, you may think you have it together right now, or you might have some answers, or you being a little stubborn. But the truth of the matter, where is that younger person lie within you right now? A lot of times we are hurt children in adult bodies, right?
Oh my God. Yes, that's true. That is so true. And
And that's the messy part. And that's the messy part. And that messy part is like, dang, I got to go all the way back to figure out what bothered me. And usually, I promise you, it's usually from 5 to 7 years old. maybe 8, but usually that time is when that ego starts to develop, and it's something traumatizing. And again, trauma doesn't mean that something catastrophic. It just means that your peace was disturbed. You had that something disturbed you. It doesn't necessarily mean it was something big, but that can change your path of the way you think about yourself.
I
So,
love that. Ooh.
so
Ooh.
even when we think about them times when we was getting roasted when we were younger, they said something that was hurtful and we held on to it, and now we have an insecurity that was from 25 years ago.
Right, right. Oh man, yeah. Someone years, decades ago, someone in the neighborhood said something to me, which I am not going to say now.
Right.
But it hurt me so bad to this day. I remember standing, I was walking when he said it, and I stopped as if someone put a brick wall in front of me. And I can remember that for years, even now, but I love what you said, how it doesn't have to be something so traumatic, but disturbing the peace.
Yeah.
And I think that's especially with us, we hear the word trauma, mental health, and everything just falls apart. We don't want to hear it, but it doesn't have to be traumatic, you know.
No, no. And when we think of messy, it's you're gonna, for to getting that stuff out, right? Like something like that you felt like journaling literally releases the stress, makes you more creative. There's so many benefits to journaling that can start the process. Doing symbolic deaths. Um,
Hmm.
and what I mean by symbolic deaths, hey, I don't want to feel this anymore, and I release it. It no longer serves me. You can burn it and let it go in the air so you can let go of it as many times as you need to do that. Like, for instance, I had to do that as part of being, I hate to say alcoholic, but it is what it is. I was an
Right.
alcoholic, right? But in order to break that, I had to do, that's part of what I did was a symbolic death so frequently, just to try to break that addiction. And
Right.
why was I addicted to it? Is because I didn't want to deal with the messy aspect of myself. So I
Mm.
mask constantly, and that's what we do. Um, we don't want to even stay in the present moment. So when we begin to indulge, to kind of suppress the moment that we think that we're creating, we're thinking that this reality, and this is what's happening. This reality is breaking down, that we're figuring out that it's not as real as we thought. And so we are creating our own reality. And when you do that, that's what makes you the generator, observer, and destroyer, because this is your reality. It's not anyone else's. Because if you turn off this phone, you could really figure yourself out.
Literally.
and you want to, and you want to do that because really, this phone is so dope, but it's so just like anything. You can't have too much of it. It can't control you. If you're not in control, you're out of control. What do you want? Like, your reality is under your control, but you are taking it. You're not healing yourself based off what you think it is. And so that's where healing comes in, because now you can realize, man, I forgot about myself. Now
Oh,
the awakening is, now I realize who I truly am.
the authentic self,
Authentic self, yes, the higher self.
the higher self. Can you pick something out of this infographic where it says how healing can feel? What stands out to you?
I think setting, because sometimes, again, we're not really patient right now. We have a very low uh, attention span, right?
Mm.
We are being programmed to have a short attention span. And this change, that awakening of finding out who you truly are can happen so suddenly. It can be one day that it's just like, oh, I got it. You hear that? Oh, I have a I had the connection. Because what's happening is that you're realizing some of the attributes that, let's say, of your thought, right? Your thought is connected to the universe, whereas thinking is connected to your ego. So this is when you see where the balance is. So even with me, when I'm balanced and or even at my higher self, I can hear when I have a thought, a specific thought, a bird, a bird makes a sound. When I have when I have or a siren, it's all connected to a powerful thought, not thinking. Because as soon as I go into thinking, the connection, the synchronicity, the harmony, all that goes away based off of thinking too much.
It's as if we intellectualize it too much, and that breaks
Yes. And
the
and intellect is really limiting who we are, right? It really boxes because society, and I understand it, right? Even society tells us to push for more. Because if you want to just go with just intelligence, that's good for you. Because intelligence, I believe, is needed, just like I believe religion is needed for you to learn, right? But there is a beyond, there is an unknown, there is an unknown you. And now
Mhm.
it's time that you find out that unknown you. Because when you find that out, you can make the connections that you are beyond here.
That's some good stuff. Ooh, this is some good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And I love that sudden because before I get into the next one, when you say sudden, I interpret it as a download. It
That too.
literally is a download. I remember I told you about this story with my parents, and I'll never forget. I was washing dishes because something traumatic had happened 24 hours earlier. And I remember I was washing dishes and I was looking outside. I'm looking out the window right now, trees blowing, and I'm talking to that parent. And something literally, not something, obviously the thoughts literally downloaded in my head. And it felt like, damn, just like that. I had a light bulb moment and everything changed after that.
Hmm.
However, because now I don't choose to stick to the old script, relationships have changed. And that's when I started seeing you. Like this is different for me. This is different.
Right, right,
The script has changed, and this script has been in the decades of the making. And it's like, God damn, look,
right,
I was connected toxicity.
right. And you had
I'm
those
keep my
aha moments.
window. Huh?
Those aha moments are so important. Those, like that is where you're getting closer and closer, or you're there. Everyone is there. Again, we were born with this. It's just that we conform to a society that forced us a program.
Right. Woo.
And what do I mean by program is that not to be ourselves. We're looking outside of ourselves, but again, that was the learning process.
Mhm.
You have to figure it out for yourself. Even creating this personal space for healing, because I think one of those um, what's one of those process of the healing process. Can you put it up?
Oh, sure.
One of them is heavy, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Um, Heavy in the sense of your heart is heavy because now you have some decisions to make. You have decision to make as to, are you going to choose yourself first?
Mm.
That gets heavy. Because most of the time, people are like, well, I don't, because this person ain't going to live without me, and they can't go on without me, and they need me. All ego.
Ego will have you up in the middle of the night creating and creating your own panic attacks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
You're right. And it's not the natural you. It's not natural. And you can feel it. Your intuition will tell you, like, yo, you know how you know, like, what streets not to go down. It's the same thing. You know where not to go. Your intuition will tell you, no, don't go down there. But yet, why can't we use those same instincts for ourselves and what path we're choosing?
right. Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go down this path because you know what? That's what my heart is telling me. Because a lot of time when I'm operating from the heart, and so at this 33 age, we have this rising of the soul. 33, Jesus Christ, right? Rising of the soul starts to sit somewhere around here, coming from the root chakra, and it's rising. Now it's time to do something with this soul, right? But now you can't do it because the soul's unknown. Again, we don't. Some people can't tap into their past lives. They don't know if it's their first time. They'll, and that's fine. This is not speculation at this point. I hope all of us know that most of us have some souls that we've been here before. I think that we should understand that. And sometimes we have to clean karma from either past lives as well. So for instance, my mom, sorry, I have to go on a little tangent, just a little, let's go a little further. My mother gave birth to me and I was supposed to teach her. I, had a son and he was supposed to teach me. And it's going to go so on and so forth. But what it's supposed to teach us is about ourselves, right? Even the children, yeah, they teach us how to be parents, but more so about ourselves. And that's what we fight.
How? Explain that. I don't understand.
Teach us more about ourselves?
Yes.
Because it's a relationship. Every relationship is going to tell you who you are or what you're capable of, because it's part of the learning. So what I mean is that you just had this creation, and now, but a lot of times we hold on to this creation as if we gotta control them on their journey. When in fact, just like us, they came down here to learn as well.
Wow.
Right? So they will have their own journey, and but finding out that what the soul is doing, how is it connected? I've seen mine before. I'm connected like that, and so I have a full understanding of who I am, what I've been through, why is this here, what my whole story. I understand, and a lot of people can say that, and I'm saying that is because you can understand your story better as to why you're here.
Right.
Through this healing, you can really find out who you are, and that is ascension. People, you want to get to a level of ascension for your sake, for your heart. Once it rises, yes, we have this consciousness, this Christ conscious, as the term is being said now. Not now, but that's really what it is. It's about expansion of the minds, because all is mind. The universe is mental. The universe is the mind. So even right now, you are in your mind. If you don't believe me, look around you. Why is everything around you? It's because of you.
Right. Wow. Okay. Healing can feel, this one This one got me. 5 steps, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back.
I was gonna say that one too.
You were gonna say that one too?
Yeah, so for instance, that's a good point because it would feel like, damn, I just went backwards because you were triggered by something, you reacted instead of respond. You did all the yoga, you did all the meditation, you did all the journaling, you did all this stuff for healing, and still you snapping still. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Sometimes people need to get snapped on. Sometimes people got to get checked. Sometimes people, you got to say a couple of FUs, whatever the case is. You have to do that for your sake. You want to get that out because remember, you have these emotions that you haven't been able to say and express, and it's been holding you down, right?
Right.
So even if you take that 5 steps back, well, you still have the opportunity to take 5 steps forward.
I'm glad you said that because there was this just happened last month. I don't know what was going on, and I'm still processing it. But and I actually thought about you because I've been feeling really good. And I remember a long time ago you said, "Okay, there's polarity. Like, watch for it." I'm like, "Yeah, he's right." It went back, and I'm like, "Ursula, what the hell is wrong with you?"
Right, exactly.
I was wilding out, not to the degree how I used to, but I was like, "Damn,
Yeah.
what is going on?" But I did process that I was being triggered. But because I was so much in the moment, I didn't give a damn of trying to process it. I was in reaction mode.
Right. And that's okay. You don't feel like, oh, damn, I messed up. You know what? I give up. You know what? I ain't going to do this no more. You know what? I don't want to do this. Because remember, who are you giving up on? You're not giving up on anyone but yourself. This is all about you. You know, if you're taking it serious enough, and again, sometimes people have those awakenings where they've realized what they really in, right? Really realize what you're in. Um, and how you're going to get there is to understand your journey better, embrace the good, the so-called bad. Um, Me, myself, I'm not looking at things from a good and bad standpoint as much as possible because uh, the more that I see it from an unbiased view,
Mhm.
the more I'm balanced within myself.
Ah, the unbiased view. That was the click for me.
Unbiased. I don't want to be on this side and this side. I want to be right here.
Right, right.
I don't want to be on the black side or the white. I don't know. I don't want to do none of that because remember, this is all verses. But the true verses is you versus you. It's really the higher self versus the lower self at all times. Um, and when you find that balance, because you still here, but we're stepping in a phase of this whole thing where um, it's going to look like magic to you. But in actuality, you always possess it.
Ah,
But you have to, but through the healing is how you're going to see this magic.
right. Because running from it, being stagnant, that's not going to get you there at all.
No, no. And then wishing upon a star. No, you're just doing this wishing and being hopeful. Really, I don't like being hopeful anymore either. I like to be in the know. All right. We are in the know at this point.
Oh my God. So before we wrap up, let's talk about your complexion confessions so people can purchase this book. Let's talk about it.
The memoir book. This is the first installment of Higher Self versus Lower Self. Actually, if you Google this now, Higher Self versus Lower Self, this pops up. My mixtape pops up. I'm like, wow. I'm okay with that because that would be forever. Like
Yes,
almost, it's like I could be the face of it without even know.
exactly.
And in this book, complexion, why I called it complexion is, we do have this complexity within us, right, around us. Our complexion is our mass. This vessel that we in can be complex, and I'm
Right.
confessing my stories based on the most of the lower aspect of myself. So some funny stories, some serious stories, talking about the relationship with my mom and how uh, it taught me, and I had to go through these struggles and the fun stuff because I think I had a great life regardless of how some of the trauma is. I think that learning, even writing this book, I kept learning more and more about myself. And even in if you see these photos, there's a collage of just all my life, of everything that I've been through. So again, I say my name, which is very important to me. It's very significant to who I am as well. But my name is Kevin Garcia, and I am Kode Knox. And Kode meaning legend, Knox is for equinox, meaning balance. And that's what I'm bringing. Adding value. I shared my story with people in this book because, doing transformational work, doing life coaching work, I want people to say, hey, I know his story too, because I'm not
Right.
exempt from healing with you. So I'm on the journey with clients. I'm not the one that's going to be like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm all clear. I got all the answers because I definitely don't. But one thing I do know is myself. That's a fact.
Mm, that is a fact. That is
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
Also, can we? Oh, what were you about to say?
Also, the higher self versus lower self fixed tape is available on all digital platforms, and I have four other singles that I've dropped. Starting over, you ain't call. You ain't call is about the ego. Starting over is about me starting this whole process again and entering a new phase of my life. Then I have bad dreams, just talking about that this is an aspect of a dream, and that we are waking up to our true selves. And then I have disruption, which is talking about this great awakening. It's kind of it's not kind of, it is an affirmation song, and you can sing along because I say I love myself, and it's a fun song. I actually just got a deal with Dallas Austin Distribution, so
Oh, that's amazing!
yeah,
Congratulations!
thank you.
Wow.
I still have a deal with Empire as well. So I just don't know what I'm gonna release, uh, where I'm gonna be releasing stuff at. But yeah, and so there's the music. The music is, and again, I got like a million streams on Facebook, and then my Spotify is coming up too. So yeah, check me out, Kode Knox, musically too. Got some music up.
And the link is live in the thread right now for everyone watching. Just click right on it. It is live and it'll take you right to Kevin's homepage. And if you go under products and you can see with the book, the mixtape, everything is right there. And
Yeah.
also in the show description notes here on the YouTube channel, as well as the audio podcast. So everything is live. Just click on the button. I made it easy for you all. That means all you can do is just click it. Don't make it
Yes.
hard. Don't make it
Exactly.
hard.
Also, listen, I'm still accepting clients. I have 2 slots available time wise. So you can book through I am Kode Knox, for a free consultation. And yeah, I definitely am taking clients right now. So I want to put that out there. And I have a workshop that I'm recording tomorrow or Friday. It's a 3-hour conversation about healing. We talking about chakras. I'm gonna show some exercises. I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna be standing. I'm gonna be sitting. We're gonna really hone in and get down. I think I'm gonna put it on my website or put it on Thinkific or one of these learning platforms, and you all can go get that, or even Patreon, something though that you guys could grab it and really learn from it. But I'm gonna go in. But
We
yeah,
want
that's what I have
that.
going on right now.
We want that. So everyone watching now, where it says Zen Up Wellness, that is on his website. That's the same as the I am Kode Knox. So it's all the same. That's why I put it up there. Take a screenshot of it right now. That way you can just refer back to it. And we definitely want you to come back. I want you
Yeah,
to come
always.
back.
Always, always. I appreciate it. I love coming here, man. And I think that I'm here to do the light work. I want people to get to their higher self, feel what I'm feeling, seeing the balance. The balance within me is orgasmic when the chakras are aligned and balanced. And when I look up to the sky and I see a rainbow with no rain and no clouds, it's an indication as to what's going on within. So I would like you to feel that way. Holla at me. Thank you for having me, Ursula. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. We got big things coming up in the future.
For sure.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shit Together. Please make sure like, share, comment on this thread. Would be so appreciative. Go to our website. Make sure subscribe to this channel and share it so we can get the algorithms up and get the message out. We can't keep it to ourselves. That would be our lower self, right, Kevin?
Yes.
That's our lower self. All right, everyone. We will see you next week. Make sure and tune in. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, no problem. Peace, y'all.
Stay on.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.